Did you hear that? I mean, really hear it? Because when I first saw the headline, I had to do a double take, splash some cold water on my face, and then reread it just to be sure my eyes weren't playing tricks on me. A Kyle Pitts trade to the Carolina Panthers for a third-round pick in 2026. Is this some kind of elaborate, cruel joke designed to test the patience of every single Falcons fan out there? Or has the NFL media officially entered a new dimension of speculative absurdity? Because let me tell you, the thought alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine, and not the good kind. We're barreling towards roster cutdown day. That annual crucible where dreams are forged and shattered, and every team is scrambling to finalize their 53-man squad. It's a time of intense speculation with hundreds of players on the cusp of availability. Through waivers or, yes, through trades. And in that swirling vortex of rumor and possibility, Bleacher Report's Alex K threw a grenade into the NFC South, suggesting a move that, frankly, feels less like a strategic proposal and more like a fever dream. Let's break down this audacious proposition. From the perspective of the Carolina Panthers, K's argument is almost understandable, if a little opportunistic. He posits that with Bryce Young showing glimmers of promise last year, the Panthers are looking to invest in their offensive future, and what better way, he suggests, than to acquire a high-value, low-cost tight end to complete their attack. With Tommy Tremble as the projected starter and Yatavian Sanders as the backup, K argues that Carolina desperately needs a reliable outlet for Young, a go-to target in the red zone. And who fits that bill, even an underperforming version of him, better than Kyle Pitts? It's true, Pitts' rookie season in 2021 was nothing short of spectacular, a tantalizing glimpse of what he could be. 68 receptions for a staggering 1,026 yards, numbers that screamed generational talent. But then the last 3 seasons have seen a dip, with his receiving yards never eclipsing 667. From a purely statistical, cold-hearted perspective, one could twist this narrative to suggest that Pitt's value has depreciated, making him ripe for a buy low opportunity. And for a team like the Panthers, desperate for offensive playmakers, the allure of a talent like Pitts, even with his recent struggles, is clear. They see potential, a chance to revitalize a struggling offense with a player who, on his best day, can be unguardable. They envision him as that safety valve, that game-changing presence that could elevate Bryce Young's game. But here's where we as Falcons fans have to collectively pump the brakes, take a deep breath, and then emphatically shout, absolutely not! Because while K's job was to propose trades, each team should consider. This particular one, from the Falcons' perspective, is a non-starter of epic proportions. First and foremost, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the panther in the division. Trading a player of Kyle Pitts' caliber, even if he hasn't consistently hit his rookie highs, to a direct NFC South rival is simply unfathomable. You don't just hand over a potential cornerstone piece to a team you have to face twice a year. That's not just bad business, that's football malpractice. The competitive integrity of the division demands that you strengthen your own roster, not fortify your opponents, especially not for what amounts to a speculative future draft pick. The idea that the Falcons would willingly equip the Panthers with a talent like Pitts, allowing him to potentially flourish against us, is an insult to the competitive spirit of this franchise. Beyond the divisional rivalry, there's the undeniable fact of Kyle Pitts' immense, still untapped potential. The numbers haven't been what we all hoped for since that electric rookie year. But the talent, the athleticism, the sheer physical gifts that made him the highest drafted tight end in NFL history haven't evaporated. He's still a matchup nightmare, a player capable of making game-changing plays. To trade that away for a third-round pick 3 years down the line, a pick that's far from guaranteed to yield a player of Pitt's ceiling, would be an act of profound short-sightedness. The Falcons are not in the business of giving away lottery tickets for pennies on the dollar, especially when that lottery ticket still holds the promise of a jackpot. Then there's the context of the 2025 season. We're ushering in the Michael Penix Jr. era, a young quarterback who needs all the weapons he can get to ease his transition into the NFL, even if Pitts isn't the primary option. Even if he's the third or fourth target in the pecking order, his presence on the field demands attention. He stretches defenses, creates space for others, and provides a massive target for a rookie signal caller, sacrificing that for a future draft pick. Just as your new franchise quarterback is taking the reins, makes absolutely no sense from a team-building perspective. The time for cap space maneuvering with Pitt's $10.8 million contract for 2025 has largely passed. It's about maximizing the talent on the field to support Penix's development. The notion that the Falcons would allow any team, let alone a division rival, to buy low on Kyle Pitts is simply ludicrous. If a trade were ever to happen, the compensation would need to be astronomical, an irresistible offer that would fundamentally alter the Falcons' future for the better. A 2026 third-rounder, especially to the Panthers, is anything but irresistible. It's barely a polite knock on the door. It signals a complete misunderstanding of the Falcons' current strategy and their commitment to developing their young talent. And let's not forget, Kay also proposed a similar, equally preposterous trade, Kirk Cousins to the New Orleans Saints. The parallels are striking. Another buy low candidate, another division rival. It simply underscores the point. These types of intra-divisional trades, especially for players who still hold significant value or potential, are almost always non-starters unless the return is so overwhelmingly lopsided in the Falcons' favor that it would be irresponsible to refuse. And for a player like Cousins, who lost his starting spot last season, or Pitts, who is entering a contract year with something to prove, that kind of offer just isn't on the table. So, let's be clear, Falcons fans. While the NFL rumor mill will churn out all sorts of wild proposals, some of them are so far-fetched, so fundamentally misaligned with common sense and competitive strategy, and they deserve nothing more than a dismissive chuckle. Kyle Pitts is an Atlanta Falcon, and he will be a crucial piece in Michael Penix Jr.'s inaugural season. The idea of him donning a Panthers uniform, especially for such a paltry return, is not just unlikely, it's an absolute impossibility. The Falcons are building something special, and they're not about to hand over their foundational pieces to their fiercest rivals for a discount. What do you all think? Did this trade proposal make your blood boil like it did mine? Or do you see some twisted logic in it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you agree that this trade is a non-starter. Hit that like button to show your support for keeping Kyle Pitts right where he belongs in Atlanta.